Spain. Once the mightiest country in the world, its influence still resonates around the globe today. The Catholic religion and the Spanish language originally sailed to the Western Hemisphere on Spanish ships. Spain lies at the crossroads between Europe and Africa, and both continents have shaped its history and culture. By 19 BC, Romans dominated the peninsula, leaving behind roads and aqueducts. Berbers from North Africa arrived in 711 AD. Soon, their rule and Muslim religion gripped the land. Christians waged war to reconquer the country until only the city of Granada survived as a Muslim stronghold. In 1492, the last Muslim king surrendered his fortress to the Catholic rulers Ferdinand and Isabella. That same year, the Spanish monarchs financed Christopher Columbus's voyage of exploration. And when Columbus landed in the New World, he claimed it for the Spanish crown. Spain later conquered huge empires in the Americas, colonizing Mexico and Peru and exploring parts of the U.S. Gold taken from native peoples enriched the Spanish treasury. But as the 17th century ended, Spain was in decline. Plague, depopulation, a faltering economy, and war with France wasted the country. In 1936, fascists plunged Spain into civil war. Dictator Francisco Franco emerged victorious in 1939 and embarked on 36 years of repressive control. Franco picked his own successor, the grandson of the late King Juan Carlos, who took the throne on Franco's death in 1975. But to the world's surprise, Juan Carlos led his country from dictatorship to democracy, establishing a constitutional monarchy, working to modernize Spain, and raising its standard of living. Today, Spain is a thriving member of the European Union. It's an urban country with 75% of its citizens living in cities. The capital, Madrid, is home to over 5 million of the country's 40 million people. But the residents here are outnumbered by their visitors. Nearly 50 million people travel to Spain each year, attracted by its sunshine, beaches, and unique culture. Underneath its modern exterior, Spain's traditions run deep. In Andalusia, the country's southernmost region, vineyards still thrive as they have for thousands of years. Spain is one of the world's major producers of wine, especially fine sherries. Flamenco music and dance were also born in Andalusia, where Arabic and Spanish music mingled with traditional Jewish songs. The sound is both an echo of Spain's past and a window into its enduring spirit.
Si España fuese un pueblo de 100 habitantes, habría 49 hombres y 51 mujeres, y vivirían en un total de 37 hogares. De esos 100 habitantes, 15 serían menores de 14 años y 17 mayores de 65. 12 serían extranjeros. ¿De qué países serían? Pues sobre todo de Rumanía, Marruecos, Ecuador y 46 personas estarían casadas, 44 solteras, 6 viudas y 4 separadas y divorciadas.
El talismán de tu piel me cuenta que en tu montura caerán las riendas.
Cuando unos 62 años.
74
personas
caigamos juntos
60 usarían gafas o lentillas. 50 no habrían fumado nunca. 34 tendrían sobrepeso y estarían un poco gorditas. Y 13 tendrían algo.
La eternidad
17 personas irían al colegio al instituto. Y 3 estarían en la universidad. 40 tendrían un trabajo, de los cuales
yo soy la tierra de tus raíces, el talismán de tu piel.
30 de ellos estarían contentos.
Yo soy la tierra de tus raíces,
las mujeres
el
cobrarían algo
corazón,
menos.
el fuego de tu piel. Yo soy la tierra de tus
Las
raíces,
mamás cobrarían
el
72.
talismán de tu piel lo dice.
45
Yo soy la tierra de tus raíces, el que dices. descalza de esquina a esquina, por cada calle que hay en tus sueños, que
A lo largo de todo el año vendían
tus
212
puertos.
billetes del
El
Estado
talismán de tu
¿Qué
piel me
pasada?
cuenta
Más que
que
todos los
tu
habitantes del
destino
pueblo.
caerá a
Y
mi
los países
puerta.
de donde más vendían sería
Noche de
de
amor
Rusia, Alemania
desesperados,
y Francia.
caigamos juntos
En el pueblo habría 7 empresas.
esta alfombra y el
Habría
alrededor
también centros
acabarán
comerciales,
desordenadas cuando una noche de amor que
cada
yo no
habitante
dudo
consumiría de
la
media
eternidad
0,9 litros de agua al día.
tuyo el
¡Qué interesante!
deseo y el
¿Y por qué
corazón.
sabemos todo esto? Por la estadística.
Yo soy la tierra de tus raíces, el talismán de tu piel lo dice. Yo soy la tierra de tus raíces, dice el corazón y el fuego de tu piel. Yo soy la tierra de tus raíces, el talismán de tu piel lo dice. Yo soy la tierra de tus raíces, ¿qué dices tú? Yo soy la tierra de tus raíces, el talismán de tu piel lo dice. Yo soy la tierra.
They are living in the fourth largest economy in the Eurozone, with the banking sector under severe pressure, and the Prime Minister giving his clearest indication yet that Spain may need to call on its European neighbours to help it out of its financial crisis.
Una vez que nosotros conozcamos
Once we know what the independent auditors say, and once we have spoken to all our European partners, who I have been speaking to throughout the week, including the Dutch Prime Minister, who has been with us today in Madrid, we'll make the decision that is best for the general interests of the Spanish people.
But why does what's happening in Spain matter so much to the rest of the world? Quite simply because it's one of the biggest economies in the single currency and in recession. Spain's banking system was crippled by the collapse of the housing market. Estimates suggest propping up the sector could cost between $40 and $100 billion. The Spanish government is running out of cash, and a wider EU bailout could stretch the region's resources. Spain has always been nervous about asking Brussels for help, wanting to keep hold of its own purse strings.
With that rescue package, that usually there are a number of measures that tend to be very damaging for the economy as well. More austerity measures, cuts to unemployment support, cuts to pensions, etc. So what Spain wants to do is to assess that those measures that will be forced upon them will not be more damaging, so that the solution is not worse than the problem.
Earlier, some respite for the Spanish government after it managed to raise more than $2 billion by auctioning off some of its debt. Germany, the biggest economy in the single currency, could hold the cards over Spain's future. The EU's leaders are due to meet later this month. Before that, though, the International Monetary Fund will deliver its report on the Spanish banking sector. Emma Hayward, Al Jazeera.